What's up, everyone, and welcome back. This is episode 15 of Well-Rounded Individual. I am your host, Adam Schindler. Thank you all for being here. If you've made it and you're watching this show once again, if you haven't already, please do me a favor. Click that subscribe, click that follow button, whether it's on Spotify or YouTube, and just give this show a like or a follow so that I can continue to grow and continue to bring you guys great content. So today, it's going to go a little bit different. I'm kind of going off the cuff today. No guests. I'm going to have guests again next week once again, but I'm doing another solo episode today. So I kind of just want to just talk about things that are going on, current events, things that I've got going on, and just mindset stuff, because I think that that's something that is most valuable in my day-to-day is mindset and day-to-day action and routine. And it's something that just quite frankly, most people lack. Being in different spaces throughout my life, I've noticed that super disciplined people are few and far between. So it's always good to find someone like myself that has an unwavering discipline and just pick up nuggets. You don't got to be exactly like me, for sure. I know that most people won't, but don't want to. And that's totally okay. But if you can pick up one thing here, one thing there from the crazy routine that I keep, then that's worth that to me. And I just want to continue to express what works for me, what I like, and hopefully it can help you, because I can't keep it all in here. I will go crazy if I keep everything that I have in my head inside. And that's partially why I created this and I wanted this podcast in the first place, is just because I want to continue. I want to bring value, and I want to say things that are on my mind, and I want to help people, and I can. And I'm confident that what I have to offer is very valuable to everyone. So, you should listen to this. Everyone should be listening to my podcast. So, that's what we're going in on today. Another thing is just I started this podcast to show up every week. And just like in fitness, just like in anything that you want to get good at, on a day-to-day basis, you have to show up and put in the work no matter what. That's what we're going to do today. So, let's get right into it. So, a little bit about first of all, I got a new watch, and I don't know if anyone is a fan of Garmin, but I've been an Apple person my whole entire life. I have Apple everything. But this new Garmin watch, I have the Garmin Forerunner 965, is really badass. It's given me so many metrics that I never got from my Apple Watch that are super important to me. And I'm a metrics guy. I really like numbers. I really like to see how my body breaks things down and how I'm performing, and the reasoning and numbering behind it. So it's super cool because it stays charged for multiple days too. I don't know if anyone's ever had an Apple Watch before, but you have to charge your Apple Watch every single day. And generally that's at nighttime. So you don't get any sleep metrics. And if you do get sleep metrics, then you can't use your watch for a little while the next day. And that's something that I've always struggled with, being someone that is constantly thinking and constantly doing something. Is sometimes it's tough for me to wind down, and sleep has been, I would say, a struggle for me at times throughout my life, throughout my adult life at least. Just always wanting to improve, always wanting to be better, thinking, we can think ourselves just into a frenzy sometimes, but this has a great sleep tracker. And so I had my first good night's sleep with it last night, and I'm super pumped and about that. And I'll talk about that, in the future as well. But things that are going on. I've got High Rocks coming up in Mexico City, and in 4 weeks. So I've been training super duper hard for that. I'm just pushing myself every day. I'm trying to listen to myself. I'm trying to give myself recovery as well, right? And that's super important because especially like a lot of times people see the type of volume and things that I put in. And I would agree with some people that say I need to rest more. And I do. But putting in that type of volume and then when you do rest before you perform, it makes you perform even better. But I don't know where I was going with that. So, High Rocks, Mexico City, coming up in 4 weeks, and I'm training hard. I've got this watch like breaks down like my VO2 max and things of that nature, and I never even like really thought about VO2 max before, but apparently my VO2 max is a 54, which is like on the high end of elite. I think it would be like extraordinary for like an age group of sub 29. So I think to be excellent or like elite at my age of 41, 42 is the cutoff. So I'm 12 points above that. And I think that VO2 max is just like your capacity, your lung capacity, and your body's ability to like process oxygen and recover. Which is going to be great because Mexico City is at elevation. And, I don't know if anyone has ever trained at elevation before, but it makes a big difference. And so performing at elevation and competing at elevation is going to be a different animal. Luckily, here in Vegas, we're not too low. We're not at sea level. I think when I run through Summerlin, I'm getting up to like 34, 3,500. When I run at Red Rock, I'm at 4,000 or more. So just a couple thousand less than Mexico City. I think Mexico City is between 7,000 and 8,000 feet in elevation. So that's something that I'm definitely preparing for, and definitely over the next 4 weeks going to be going up to Mount Charleston to get some cardio in up there and just kind of prepare my lungs and prepare my body to be able to sustain a pace and sustain that kind of work output at the elevation in Mexico City. So again, super pumped for that. Flying out the 7th, coming back on the 10th of November, and it's going to be a great trip. If you follow me on socials, I'm going to be documenting the whole thing, so it's going to be really fun. If anyone wants to go, that'd be great too. I've got if anyone wants to go that is like good with that wants to document things, that'd be fun as well. But yeah, let me know. So I've been encountering some things, with different people and just like different like things in my mind because when it comes to someone like me that like I'm super duper driven, super duper hard on myself, super duper like just type A all the way. Like I literally won't leave my room if there's any article of clothing on the floor because I know that I saw it there and I didn't pick it up. Right? That just like is something that I want to cross all T's and dot all I's at all times. And a really hard thing for me throughout my whole entire life, at least as an adult, as I've like developed and become this person that I am, is extending grace to other people when maybe they're doing their best, but it's not to your standard or it's not to what you would do, because I think that even though like, I'm not even sure that it's on accident or on purpose or anything like that, right? But extending grace when people have could have done better, but also letting them know that they could have done better. What is that dichotomy of being able to not write someone off because they do something or don't do something that you think should have been done, but also be vocal enough to let them know that it bothered you or that it's an action that needs to be corrected, right? So the easiest way I think to break this down is just to think about doing the right thing all the time and doing the right thing because it's the right thing, not because someone's watching or, it works in your benefit or it helps you to show face, right? That is fake. When someone is just performing for a camera or performing for like another person, if they act one way in a certain setting but act differently around other people, that's fake. And there's a lot of that all over the place, but you have to be able to recognize it and be able to tell when people actually are doing their best and when it can be malicious. And I think that's really tough for me too, because you want to give grace and you want to extend the benefit of the doubt for the most part, or at times you do. And I've been that kind of person that like I want to extend the benefit of the doubt, but when you extend the benefit of the doubt so many times, and then you realize that you shouldn't have, it can close off your mind, and you can never extend the benefit of the doubt again. You're just like, oh, you fucked up, you're gone, for good. And that's kind of how I've been as an adult for the most part, is no second chances type thing. But I think there's obviously a level to like the degree of the action that that dictates like whether like this is a non-negotiable one time and you're out, or do you get extended a second or a third try, right? Or a second or a third like invitation to like correct the behavior. And I just don't really understand sometimes why people just don't do it right the first time. And I do understand also that right is not a static thing. What's right to someone in their own mind, it can be pretty dynamic in what people actually think and what people actually believe. But rather than right, why don't people do things that they think is right the first time? Because many times you may think that something's right, but you just don't do it because you're lazy, or because it's easier not to, or because you're being malicious or you're being manipulative. I feel like that's a surefire way to be able to tell if someone is going to be honest with you, is if they're even honest with themselves. Right? If someone is so dishonest with themselves that they can't keep routine, they can't keep the word that they have to themselves, then what makes you think that they're going to keep their word to you? And being in a business where you rely on other people, that's where I guess payment comes in too, right? Because for people to hold true to something, a lot of times they have to have collateral. But if there's no collateral involved, then what's to say that when the wind blows one way or the wind blows another way, that someone isn't going to just drop the ball or just not honor their word or not honor the deal. I don't really know the answer to that, but I think a great way to do that is just to hold people accountable. I feel like, especially in today's day and age with the way culture is, not a whole lot of people get held accountable. And when people do get held accountable, it's kind of for the wrong things a lot of the times. We're letting things slide that shouldn't slide, and we're kind of cracking down on things that don't really matter in society today. But yeah, it all comes back to being a person that does what they say and says what they do. Just I'm gonna have to edit this a lot because this fucking sucks. I might not.
Everything you're saying is good. It's just
yeah, but
you stop. You have pauses.
Yeah,
you have to edit, but everything you're saying is good.
Yeah. Just I feel like it's so hard for me to like. Even when I have another person in here, I sometimes like I get lost like while I'm talking. But when I watch it back, it's always like pretty decent. But like I just like pick it up. Anyways. Yeah. All right. So now basically I want to talk about something that I think that fitness can really help with, and that's helped me with just in life in general, and something that everyone needs to do so that they don't give up on things is just to, the hardest thing in the world is to work your ass off in a day and wake up the next day and work your ass off again when you've seen nothing as a result, right? So nothing is going to happen in a day, or sometimes in a month, or sometimes in a year, or sometimes even in 5 or 10 years. You know, it takes a long time to achieve specific goals, and it takes a long time to see differences in, you know, let's say savings accounts, or your body, or a business growth, or followers, or subscribers, or anything like that. So getting up every single day and putting the outcome out of your head and knowing that today's task is to do this action, right? So today I'm going to work out. Today I'm going to do my podcast. Today I am going to hit my macros. Today I'm going to make 10 phone calls to potential clients, like things that you have complete control of, and throwing the outcome out of your mind so that no matter what, you do the actions that are going to lead you to long-term success. Because the easiest way to quit something is to be so focused on numbers and end results and immediate satisfaction and immediate feedback that it throws your ultimate goal off. It's like eating sweets, right? So, you know, you want a quick fix for something, but it's long-term road to destruction. It's like alcohol, quick fix for something, long-term road to destruction, right? You know, if you want something that's going to be a quick fix, it's never going to be something that lasts ever. It doesn't matter what it is. So get that what's the word I'm looking for? You have to get just your reliance on immediate feedback out of your head and just do the work every day. That's how running has changed my life. Right? This is the easiest way that I can correlate it is now that it's 2024, I think, I've been running for sports my whole life, but I was never a runner. I hated running. Like I never ran consistently until about 2018. Unless I was training for like a fight, I would run when I had to and my coaches made me, but I never ran consistently every week of my life until 2018 or 2019. And I didn't start tracking my runs until 2019. So coming up next month, I'm about 104 miles away from 13,000 miles run since January of 2019. So less than 6 years. And I just crossed 2,000 miles for the year, which is the 5th consecutive year in a row that I've hit at least 2,000 miles. 2024, I'm going to cross at least 2,600 miles run this year. That, when you say those words, it seems like, what? Like, what are you even talking about? Like, how are you going to run 2,000 miles in 10 months? How are you going to run 3,000 miles in a year? How are you going to run 2,600 miles in a year? And it isn't about thinking about the distance and the total goal that you're going to do. It's about waking up every day and being like, this is what I'm doing today. I'm running today. I don't know how far I'm going to go, but I am going to run. And then as soon as you take action, all of a sudden you're 3 miles in and you're feeling good because you made yourself get there. And you're like, oh, I feel good. I can go to 6. And you're 6 miles in. Sometimes you want to quit. Sometimes you've had enough. But those days that it hurts, you don't want to show up, but you do anyways, many times can be the best days that you've ever had, whether it be on the road or on a field or in the office or in business or in the gym or anything like that. Or it can just be a win. It doesn't have to be the best I've ever done or the best I've ever been. Some days, just checking off what you said you were going to do is the biggest win for the day because it fulfilled the promise that you made to yourself. You said you were going to do it, and you did it. We get so caught up in performance and metrics. I know that I just literally talked about how I'm so obsessed with metrics, but I'm to the point, like in my mindset in my life, to where I'm obsessed with them, but it doesn't deter me from taking the action because I don't hit something. Because I know that if I just keep going, I'm gonna eventually get it, right? And that's the best way to achieve any goal is you just keep going. If it's running, just keep showing up every day. If it's the gym, just keep showing up every day. If it's a diet, just keep following the plan every day. If it's a podcast, just keep showing up every day. Some days are not going to be very good. I've had those before. Today's one of those days. But I'm here. And I may not be my best today, but I'm definitely going to say some things that are going to be valuable. And that's what it comes down to, is that progress over perfection. And I mean, for me, maybe I'm, missing this, but I feel like for me in particular, that's always been like that's been something that's been really hard for me to overcome is just showing up. Because I'll show up, but like I will beat myself up for not being the best or doing as well as I thought that I could have. And honestly, I've quit a lot of things just because I was like, oh, it's not worth it for me anymore. And sometimes that's good and sometimes it's not good because, you never know. There are some things that I've showed up and given it try again. And maybe I stayed too long. Maybe I should have quit it earlier, but I didn't. But something that you actually care about, that you actually want to do, that you're actually still in, that you really have a desire and a want for, keep showing up for it, no matter what the outcome is. If you're to the point where you're like, fuck this shit, then fuck it, right? So if you're not enjoying it anymore and it's not benefiting your life, definitely, then it's time to pivot. But don't ever quit something that you actually want just because you're not getting the results that you want yet. I think that that's super important. It's the reason why I'm here right now, is just to continue practicing what you preach. And you can't trust someone who's going to tell you all these things and doesn't follow through with what they actually say. How many times have you watched a podcast and people are just like talking all this positive stuff, and then you see them and you're like, you don't live that. It happens all the time, and even in life too. And I think that's what's great about social media and great about the internet, is it's kind of annoying. I've always said, I've literally been saying this for like 15 years, is that the greatest thing about the internet is that everyone has a voice. And the worst thing about the internet is that everyone has a voice. But now it's so easy to prove that you are who you say you are. If you're hiding, like, it's easy to hide. But when you show undeniable proof that you are exactly who you say you are, you can put it out there. And no one can call you a fraud if you're putting in the work every single day and you're doing what you say you'll do and what you said you would do every single day. So that's what I love about it. And I'm sure people can get annoyed too. I know people get annoyed with me because I post my runs every day. I post my food every day. But you know what? Guess what? That's my life. I care about it. And I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk to you about it if I didn't live it. And it'd be really hard, a lot more hard for you to believe me if you didn't see me actually doing it every day. So let's say, for instance, I did do it every day, but I didn't post about it at all. But I got on here and I talked about it. How would anyone know? Right? So when you want something, when you care about something, you have to show it, right? You have to prove it. And, we live in a world that needs proof. There's a lot of ways to fake the proof now, but that goes back to what I was saying from the very beginning. It's just holding a standard for yourself and doing the right thing that you know is right and moving in the direction that you want to move with good intention. It's hard. It's hard to go a different route and to, do something that is challenging and to do something that people say you're crazy for doing. It's hard to hear people not believing in you. It's hard. All that's hard. But you know what I feel is like even harder is like living a life of just like security and monotony, right? Pursuing things that you care about is so much more important. It's so much more of what life is about than any type of bill you pay or, job security or anything like. Trust me, I understand where all that comes from, but are you happy? Like, does it excite you? Do you want to do it? What I think is so important in what life is all about is getting up and being excited for what you're going to do every day. And no matter what the outcome is, whether you're currently winning in it or you're just working to win in it, having that opportunity and having that excitement makes life worth it. Not that, all life isn't worth it, but I couldn't imagine doing something that I didn't want to do every single day. That isn't like a call for everyone. Different people have different personalities. That's not a call for everyone to, quit the job they hate and pursue their passion. But if you want to, why not? We've seen that everything can be taken away from you in the blink of an eye. So finding value and finding fulfillment in the things that you do and bringing positivity and value to people that you love and people that you care about is the most important thing. Being there for your family, being there for your friends, being someone that's fun to be around. Don't let anyone crush your dreams and tell you that you can't do it. Because everyone who sees you pursuing, you can fall down a million times, and you're going to fall down a million times. But you're never going to get to where you're going to where you want to be unless you continue to go forward. Those people who tell you you can't or make fun of you behind your back or don't watch your stuff or don't care about it or make snide remarks about it, they're not happy. There's never been one single person who saw another person pursuing what they loved and what they wanted to do and said something negative about it that's actually happy with their life. You will never receive hate from a person who's content and pursuing greatness. If you do, then it's probably not going to last long for them because they're not if anyone's focused on you or being negative towards the things that you want to do, they're not focused on themselves. What we have to do to be successful is focus on ourselves and the daily actions, day in and day out, things that you can't control. And a lot of times, especially when you encounter those type of people who are negative and take away from you, you either have to be strong in their face and let them know that it's not acceptable or cut them out. That's a really easy way to do it. But I think standing strong in your conviction and what you want is a more powerful way to let them know that that you don't care about their opinion, right? If you just stop talking to them, maybe they think you're running from them. But if you stand firm in your conviction and you confront them, then there's no denying that. So I think that's important, is to be able to stand up for yourself in that type of situation. Continue to seek challenges and continue to just look for areas of growth and put yourself in positions that are going to make you uncomfortable and make you grow, because if you go to the gym and everything's easy, you're never going to get any stronger, and that correlates to everything in life. And I know that damn near every analogy I have ever make or have made goes back to running or fitness, but it's literally the best analogy for anything that's difficult in life is to compare it to something that you actually have to physically do. So, just keep going, keep working. Oh, man. All right, guys. Well, I had a lot of notes, and especially like when I'm running and I'm working out and I'm preparing. There's so many things that I think I want to talk about, but it's really hard to come off the cuff, off the top of your head, and keep a structured thing. So that's all I got today. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone for watching. Again, please hit the like, subscribe, and next week we're gonna come back with more guests. So we'll see you then.